This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Okay, I got something, but if you got something, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay, did you see Dobbs get targeted yesterday and the refs missed it?
Yes.
It was the first drive of the game.
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm going to say this. Now, for years I said, fine ball players who adjust their batting gloves $250,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unreasonable. It's silly.
It's probably not going to happen.
Okay, but I do say this: if I'm the NFL, I throw you out of the league if you target. You don't get two. No, you don't get two.
Sometimes the guy's dropping his helmet when you're going to go tackle him. I disagree.
I know you do, but I'm saying you're out of the league.
I think we're throwing these guys out of the game and calling penalties more than we should.
Well, I say you target, you're done. You don't get the play.
The guy running's got to not be lowering his head too.
So. But Jackson had already been suspended. For various things like
I'm
this.
sure he'll be fined again, but they go back and look at films and try to figure out what they can do to steal players' money,
right?
With the fine, so they'll give him.
But our guy, former colleague Tom Pelissero, said that because a penalty wasn't called on that play, Jackson legally cannot be suspended. He can be fined, but he cannot be suspended.
Yeah, they fined a bunch of people last week who never got called for a penalty.
Right. I'm not going on a campaign. I really don't care that much. But I'm saying I'd have no trouble. You're kicked out of the league. You don't play anymore, period.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is it occurred at the end of one of the stupidest play calls in the history of the NFL. So here's the deal. It's 3rd and 1.
On this play we're talking about?
Yeah, it's a Hawkins. It was a Hawkinson play, right?
Yeah.
It's 3rd and 1, and you run this convoluted play with the tight end getting the ball and pitching it to the quarterback. What is the end game? What are you trying to do? Make 4 yards instead of 1? You're not. It's not like a play that's going to. When you run a trick play, the idea is to bust something open and score on a 40-yard play.
Which they did with the fake punt.
Yeah, on the fake punt. They ran a couple of those. They got a touchdown on a trick play last week. What are you doing? What are you doing
That
here?
struck me as, look at how smart I am.
Yeah, it is. But why?
Why?
Here's a better idea. Hand it to somebody and run behind Darisaw and get 3 yards instead of do this whole stupid thing. But the Josh phenomenon did kind of lose some steam in the fourth quarter. He got very... I don't think he has a calmness about him.
Well, he certainly got rushed at will.
Later on, but
I suppose Denver dropped everyone back.
No, not really.
They actually kind of brought the kitchen sink at him.
Because I think they thought they could rattle him.
Well, they did.
Because if Kirky's back there, and I'm far from a big Kirky fan, but what you're going to do is throw about 3 balls over the middle and move it up the middle, because they'll be playing semi-prevent if it's him. And I think they thought they could get Dobbs to start running around in a hurry if they came after him, and they did really.
What did I say? Drop
hard.
back?
Yeah.
No, I meant they had too many people rushing him,
Yes,
and he
they
wasn't
did.
getting any help.
Gotcha.
Because the offensive line had a terrific 2.5 quarters or something, and then Denver changed its philosophy. But that was a bad loss because you were a much better team. Didn't you think the Vikes were a much better team? And
I
Russell
think
Wilson
he
stinks.
contributed to the Dobbs story, though, with that fantastic touchdown where
it was
he scrambled out of
It was.
disaster and then said, oh, what the hell, here's a guy. Boom.
Here's my problem, though. And I liked him a lot, and I've been more invested in watching the Vikings since he got the quarterback than I have in a long time. But I don't know. He starts a lot of gyrations in the pocket before it's necessary, and then he ends up, he backs up and he goes this way, and they look spectacular. But I think sometimes you just got to go. There's the guy, 8-yard pass. Let's go.
For some reason, too, because of the history of Viking football, the Broncos have become a team that a lot of fans don't like because of both Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. You got the double whammy of guys we don't like.
But Russell's terrible. Russell is what happened to him? He's brutal.
Yeah, he
just lost it.
Did Seattle go to a Super Bowl with him?
Yeah, they won one and almost won another.
Yeah. He's terrific when he was there. I don't know what happened to him. I said this earlier, though, to somebody, Judd, actually. Because of Brady and because of Rodgers and because of Favre, we think that 35-year-old quarterbacks shouldn't be over the hill. But Russell's over the hill at 35, and that was common for 50 years. That, he got to be 32, 33, 34. You weren't as good as you used to be, and that's Russell Wilson, who's 36 now, right? So, he doesn't have the mobility he had, and you remember that he made how many plays he made by running out of the pocket.
I was stunned that this is already his 12th year. When I saw that last night, I thought, my God, he's been in the league for 12 years already.
And he wasn't a young man when he left Wisconsin because he had
a transfer
thing, and he was a fifth-year transfer, I think, because he had a redshirt year at North Carolina.
I think it was South Carolina.
Someplace.
Is this now the Vikings bye week?
No, they play the Bears on Monday Night
Football.
Then they have the bye week.
That's right.
That's right. We were 13-3 last year. I keep forgetting that. 13-4. 13-4. That's how we ended up with all these primetime games.
That's right.
We all thought that the Bears and Vikes would be flexed, but then the Vikings won 5 in a row. So people want us to go on TV now.
Did you guys see the end of the Bears game?
Yes.
I did not.
It was damn near mathematically impossible for the Bears to lose this game, and they still found a way.
26-14 with 4 minutes to go, right? They went ahead with 4:43 to go. And Jared Goff was playing so poorly, the quarterback, that they were booing him in Detroit.
Yep.
And then he go down and get 2 touchdowns just as quick as they want to.
And then a safety to clinch her at the end.
The safety was...
God.
That was what... Fields wasn't ready for the snap, or what was that play? No, they got sacked.
I think he got
sacked,
hit, yeah.
And then the ball went flying. And then the Detroit guy who was chasing the ball just booted it out of the end
Hutchinson,
zone.
the Michigan kid, yeah.
Well, the Detroit guy, the lineman who was chasing the ball, he just kicked it, and then Hutchinson went over and picked it up, and kicked it, and then booted it into the stands.
You know who was happy with that game? Detroit Don.
Got him right here.
Oh, yeah.
Just got ejected.
Do you think they've been allowed back in?
I would have.
Sure,
Well, remember, he proclaimed in that epic soundbite, he's never coming back to this dump.
Yeah.
Even though he's got his seat numbers tattooed on his forearm.
Yeah.
And that dump was the Silver Dome?
No, that dump, I believe, was Ford Field. Ford Field's been around for a while.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, it has, haven't you?
It's been around, 20 years? Because didn't they hosted the Super Bowl in 06?
I covered that one.
Right?
I hadn't covered one in a few years, but they generous Viking team beat team said, you can go to Detroit. So, okay, I said, okay. I went to, the nice thing about Detroit is the Super Bowl, you could walk from your hotel downtown to the stadium. Unlike the Silverdome, when you and I were both at that one in '82, and if you didn't get on the bus early enough, you ended up being basically pulled off and walked 2 miles with your stuff. I got on an early bus and got in there, but there were these guys straggling in
Well, that was a dump, that place.
The Silverdome.
All domes are dumps, but that was right up there.
Isn't that where you lost control of
it slipped. Yeah. I had a computer problem.
Yes, I was a witness. I'm probably the only remaining witness to that.
Yeah, they are dying on us.
That was what was it? That was a big machine too. That wasn't the old Radio Shack. That was a large
the bubble.
What do we call those? Porta bubbles. Because of course, I always said that you could determine the stature of your newspaper back in those early computer days, because the guys with the porta bubbles were like the elite.
Oh, yeah.
The Washington Post, the New York Times, the Star Tribune, the LA Times. And the rest of us had those god-awful Texas Instruments, which were about 1/3 the price, and we had to take paper with us on the road to process paper with us, and you'd be on deadline, and you'd reach in your bag, and you'd be out of paper, and you'd scream to the top of your lungs, any of you bleepers have any bleeping paper? I need a roll of paper. It was the worst machine in the history, man.
I never had to use one.
It had two big brassiere. It had a brassiere on the top where you had to put your coupler in it. It had basically room for breasts on the top of the thing to put them on to send it. And then you had to get it in there just perfect. And then if you made a mistake, you had to back up to where you made the mistake and then type it all over again in the line. Took forever. And I've told you guys about the sitting next to Red Smith story at the World Series in '81. And every time they changed the message at the board, on the Yankee Stadium board where I was plugged in, the computer go beep. How I made deadline I would not have made the deadlines the Star Tribune has now that causes you not to get a Viking game story in your
10,
paper
15 games
delivered
over.
in St. Paul.
No score in St. Paul.
Yeah.
That's why we got the interwebs.
Yeah. Oh, we will.
Are people upset about it other than old newspaper guys?
I doubt it. I don't think. Who reads the paper?
But I mean, because the score is readily available.
So do I.
Yeah.
But we're
I
dying
know it's
breed.
ever, but it's still the point. If you're still going to sell print editions,
True,
you should try to get your stuff in there.
Yes.
Right? It's but of course we were talking about hell. I remember, when it was like the Metro was 12:15 or something. Now it's 9:30 or something. The first edition's now 9:30 or something. So 9:45.
No trouble making the hockey deadlines from Sweden.
No. Now here's another thing to bring up on the deadlines, though. They're running when they start the presses. They're running so many fewer papers than they used to. They get done in a hurry. So I have, on a couple of occasions, have not gotten a late edition, even in beautiful Golden Valley, 4 miles from the production plant because of that. So the Wild played at 10 a.m. and 7 a.m. I didn't watch much.
I remembered as long as I was sitting there reading the paper.
Did we have a lot of ceremony with the Stockholm?
I didn't see the beginning of either game.
They probably took a while to kick off, because it was supposed to be 10 in the morning, and I turned it on at 11:30, and we were just early in the second period, so they must have had a lot of.
I'm sure they had a
lot of foreplay.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have lots of national anthems, I would think. You got the Swedish national anthem. Yeah. I can't remember the Swedish national anthem. Was it a good one or a bad one?
I can't remember. I don't know the Swedish anthem.
I don't either.
No.
I rarely heard it at the when I covered the Olympics in Lillehammer. You never heard it. They won the hockey title, but they didn't win any other medals, so you didn't hear it a lot. The Norwegian we heard that thing constantly, but not the Swedes.
I see too many Wild players looking to pass when they have a shot.
So you got a Boldy theory? Is he going to break out of this?
Yes,
they
he
need
will.
him to break out of it.
Yeah.
He's a good-sized lad.
Yep.
He's had one. I heard the boys on the radio for about 10 minutes. He's had one official hit this year.
Why are they always looking to pass when they have a shot? I'm getting hoarse yelling at the TV.
I don't know.
Well, it's got to be corrected because it's a big problem.
I think they've only won 5 out of 17 or 18 games, something like that.
I also heard a theory floated on the radio that this might be the year the Wild decide to sell and kind of pack her in for the season.
Yeah, it could be. Now, in the NHL, it's hard to sell because of tie. I mean, they've got points in 9 of their games, even though 4 of them or 5 of them have been losses.
But just meaning that they know they're not cup contender quality, so why bother?
No, they aren't. Although Bill tried to tell us when the season started that this was no excuse. And then we quickly seized the fact of we're trying to blame poor Parisi and Suter for this. Some guy said that they're 20. Twitter, he said they're 21% of their cap money's taken up either with rookies or the payoff that get players that aren't here, and are 23% or something. And the league average for that is like 2.2%.
Oh boy!
And I said, well, then they should lower ticket prices by 21% because it's below or.
Are they still paying Parisi and Suter?
No, they paid them, but they're
But that applied to the cap
hit. Yeah, they spread out. They signed him to a 13-year contract, knowing that they wouldn't be getting anything out of him. But they saved the franchise, for God's sakes. The attendance was going to tear. Their season ticket sales were bottomed out. They were heading into a lockout. And then they signed those 2 guys on July 4th, 2012, and everybody went nuts. And they haven't had 5 empty seats since then.
There was so much Wild fever. You came in
Judd
on
and
the
I
4th of
both
July.
came in and did a July 4th Saturday. I think it was a Saturday show. And we got Leopold on. He was giddy. Everybody was giddy.
And I know that because I was listening to it comfortably from my backyard drinking beer.
And saying, do you believe that we signed the 2 top free agents in the NHL? Now we want to be mad at
that
them.
didn't work out.
Well, yes, it did.
But
you
it
sold
did in
a
the
lot
sense
of
of
tickets.
saving the franchise.
You did, yes. And you sold a lot of tickets. And by the way, you did win 2 playoff series when they were at their best,
And
which haven't been won since 2015.
Patrick, I don't know if you agree with me, but I believe it was last week Johnny Height had a news item in which the city of St. Paul is seeking to upgrade the XL Energy Center. And I will say...
Who do they want to give them the money?
Well, I was there Friday in attendance for the Eagles concert. I will say this. I think the taxpayers of St. Paul ought to pony up and fix that dump because they got to raise those taxes in St. Paul.
No, you're not only that. Not only are you wrong. What would you do to it? It's fine.
I don't know. Yes, it is. It's fine,
perfect.
but we want.
What can you do to it?
I don't know. They could spend a little.
You got
more.
paneling falling down and stuff.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Well, I think just because everybody else is coming.
I mean, the
money.
Target
Let's
Center.
not be campaigning for any property tax increases.
Well, at least you got that nice low sales tax, aren't you? Aren't you leading the state now?
We lead the league.
9 3/4, is it?
Oh hell no! It's more than 10.
I thought it was 9.
Oh, I hope it's more than 10.
I think it was 9 3/4.
I don't want to be caught. I want to hold on to first place for a long time.
Hey, you want to be number one.
We're number 1 in sales tax.
Because you got to get those bumps in the middle of the road, those things
Islands.
in the middle of the islands.
What are they?
Yeah, I don't. You need islands.
I'm going to meet with the public works director, Sean Kershaw. First thing I'm going to ask is, what's with the islands? What's
what's
this deal?
that? Is that Plus you haven't even got roundabout fever over there yet.
I was going to ask, is it
Wait
more of a
until
roundabout?
Wait until you get roundabout fever. We got that in Grand Blanc.
Boy, coming back from Tattersall Distillery last week, where we had a town council meeting, a live show out
River
there.
Falls.
What did I say?
No,
River Falls. A lot of roundabouts.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, they're tough on you at night.
Right,
You got
yeah,
see
man,
here.
yeah. And the thing you discover about roundabouts,
What's that?
when they're in heavy traffic, you still got to wait. Because you got to try to figure out if that guy's turning
Right.
or is he going to come and hit you.
Right.
So it's I do a lot of those. I go to Woodbury and back.
They got 'em.
Woodbury's big on the roundabouts.
Yeah.
And,
I don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm not a roundabout guy.
I don't either.
We had a new one installed in my neck of the woods as you come into town in Jordan from New Prague. And it threw off a few of the older
Yes, it
folks
was.
because there was
I
one
always-
guy, he sat in it for a little bit. He didn't know which way he was supposed
I
to go.
always said that they put that one out in Lester Prairie on the highway, and there's still guys going around there for. They've been going around
Where
for.
do I turn?
They've been going around for 5 years. They still can't figure out where
They get refueled like
Out
airplanes do in the middle of
out in
going.
the middle of the country.
Yeah.
No, let's put a roundabout in here. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, let somebody make a left turn if they want to. Who gives a damn? Jeez. Yeah. Anyway.
PJ.
Wow. What a noble effort to
Holy
win that
man.
game.
Whoa.
So you
jeez.
go to, yeah, somebody's calling me here. Stop calling me. You go to
Columbus.
Columbus.
Yep.
And what do you tell the boys before the game? You say, now get out there and fight and try to keep this under 50 because that's my only goal. It's 4th and 2. Out on you're on their 40. You're out there 40. And you're only behind 13-0. And you punt in the first half. But that is not giving me a solid effort to win the game.
No, you got
is
to
it?
go for it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to. So at the halftime, you get in there and say, I'm proud of you guys. We're only behind by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, held them to 13.
Yeah, you held them to 13, and let's get out there, and if we can punt them deep in their own territory a few more times, we'll be happy as clams. I've never seen a guy so possessed with not getting his ass kicked. Over trying to actually pull off the upset
That's
of
the
the
second
century.
time he's
And
done this.
his post game's getting a little tiresome with this. It's all on me. It's my fault.
Yeah.
They weren't. Well, then you
No,
shouldn't
it's
be
not.
here.
No. But he did it against Michigan, too, right?
Yep.
To try to keep it as boring as possible when it could have been worse. But, yeah, it's all. Did he even buy? He didn't bring out the all on me.
I did
this
not
time.
see a second
Did he
of the
bring it out
postgame.
again?
Yes.
Again?
Yes.
So you're playing the number 2, 3, or 4 team in the country, and you just gave up 600 yards to the number 110 team in the country, and it's all on you? No, it ain't. It's all on them being way better than you.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Gopher Hole is reporting that the Gophers are currently projected to face Texas State in the Frisco Bowl on December 19th.
Well, that
They
presumes they beat
would have
Wisconsin.
to win, right?
Well,
Or is this because of they need some 5 and 7 teams?
that's just it. I think if they even lost the game against Wisconsin.
Texas State is terrible. I think
So
they
are the
just
Gophers.
Yeah, but Texas State just got their arse kicked by somebody. I thought I saw. I looked it up.
Well, in Frisco, Texas, I don't know if Texas State
That's
has
where
the
North
rights
Dakota State used to play for the
for the
championship all the time.
Oh boy, okay.
That's the soccer stadium where the. That's the soccer stadium where the Division II FCS game
Is there no
played.
pride anymore?
No, there's none.
You don't go to a bowl game with this team.
I think you say no.
You just say,
Yeah.
but they never say no.
You got to say no.
Say
the Frisco
no.
Bowl, you got to say no. No, thank you.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, we aren't that smart.
Remember when Joe said, "What the hell is the Beef O'Brady Bowl?" As we were supposed to promote it being on our airwaves.
I didn't know we had it on our station.
I know you didn't.
No, that's we haven't been as proud of that since we were since we had the Renaissance Festival.
What the
Beef
hell is the
O'Brady
Beef
Bowl.
O'Brady
The
Bowl?
hell is that? Joe, we're sponsoring it.
Yeah, Joe, it's on
I
our-
know that one.
Well, it'll follow programming here on
There,
TV.
you know, near where we used to own the condo down in Snakeville, there was a Beef O'Brady's in that shopping center, but I never went in there.
You didn't take the bride for a...
No, we went to a couple other places, but we didn't go to the Beef O'Brady's.
Is it a burger joint?
Yeah, it's
Is it a sports bar?
Low, sports bar type
Gotcha.
thing.
Do they still have the Beef O'Brady?
Oh, yeah. They're a big deal.
I don't know. I don't think they're a sponsor anymore. But
No, but they're still a chain.
so this
is a better country when Bulls meant something.
The Gopher Holes said that we're going to get in at 5 and 7 because of our strong
According
academics.
to that, their projections, I'm assuming, yes, we would get in.
God, that would be great.
Oh,
That would be great if he could lose to Wisconsin, who stinks, by the way. But they did beat Nebraska. Saturday.
so.
Right? It'll be a war of mediocrity.
let me ask you a question then, Patrick. Would you be more upset if I traveled to Frisco, Texas, than you were when I went to the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit?
Yes, much more.
You would be
because it's such a long
I would
trip.
be very upset if the Star Tribune sent a reporter to the
Frisco Bowl?
Frisco Bowl.
And you know they will.
Yeah, we got budget cuts. We don't travel like they will. I'm going to say no.
Really?
I'm going to say no.
Even Chipper? Chipper wouldn't.
Oh,
Chipper's Mr.
Chipper
College
wouldn't-
football.
yeah,
You
he
foot the
wouldn't-
bill
he wouldn't go
for
that one.
your hockey writer to be in Sweden.
Sweden. And
Did we have a
Russo
person
was
in
there,
Sweden?
too, for the athletic.
You guys have one, Joe?
Did we have a hockey writer in Sweden?
I don't know. It would have been Shipley, I think. I didn't look.
I think
I
we
don't know.
did.
Oh.
Did you go, too?
I'm going to look when I get home.
Okay, good. Because it was, I'm sure that
In fact, I'll look right now.
we
would you-
wrote a lot about the festivities, I guess.
Would that be online?
I think Shipley's covering wild hockey right now for a while.
Now, who's the gal in your club?
Sarah McClellan.
She does a good job.
She does. She cranks out a lot of stuff. She does have a tendency to break down wins and losses a little more than I would about an 82-game thing, but I guess that's the way we rate hockey.
Yep. Hey, Patrick, while Joe's looking that up, why don't you let us know about our friends at the Valley Group of GM dealers?
Hey, Thanksgiving.
There might be getting a call from me soon, by the way.
By the way,
Yeah,
Christmas. Do you think Christmas is a good time to buy the family a car?
absolutely.
That used to be a ricey tradition. The old man about every 4 years would pull up with a new station wagon. And it'd be Christmas presents,
Did he put the Rudolph nose on the new car like he did with the snowmobile?
No, not that. That would no. He did the Rudolph. The Rudolph nose was on one of the station wagons after his deer hunt.
That's it.
When he stopped at the Malone home, but he never did that with us because we were too smart for him. But anyway, Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. You want that SUV for Christmas, for the family, for the hockey-playing kids, big trunk, big space in the back to throw those bags in? I saw that if you qualify, you can get a very nice, generous interest rate, 1.9 I saw when I looked last week. Also, the Sierra truck, that's pretty good for hockey equipment, 0.9. And everybody in the suburbs is driving trucks or SUVs. And Buick's got them, GMC's got them. Jim Paul and Brett Paul have them in Apple Valley and Hastings. The Valley Group of GM dealers. You can trust those folks. Otherwise, I wouldn't be buying my last 5-6 cars from them if he couldn't trust those folks. So they'll make you the best deal you can. Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, Hastings and Apple Valley.
What'd you find out?
That it's a subscriber-only story. And apparently we're not a subscriber here at the studio.
You don't
For the Star Tribune?
Yeah.
Or your paper?
My paper.
You don't have a subscription to your own
I do
newspaper?
at home.
Oh.
But
I
not
see.
here, apparently.
Well, you don't have the...
You
don't
must not
know
remember what
the
your login and your
login is.
password and all
just
that.
put your login in.
Hey, no clue what that is.
Okay.
None.
Where's your password? I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
You
Are
know,
you a member? What?
do you get a free one for the Pioneer Press at home, or do you have to pay for
I
it?
think we get a deal.
Do you? Well, I get a deal, but I got to pay. I got to pay about 70%.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a long-time employee.
No, I'm a long-time contractor.
Okay.
I might as well put the cat.
That's what I am. I'm a contractor.
I might as well put the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I have in my possession, waiting for a signature, what will be written in for another 2-year extension
Attaboy.
as a contract.
Really?
That
See, I don't
means-
have a contract. Now you're making me nervous.
That means when it's over,
Yeah.
I will be 80 years old.
So what?
And
The guy you followed was a Hun.
I told Seaman this, and he said, I think I can go back and find tape of you and Joe making fun of Sid when he was still working at 80. So,
Right.
well, we probably, when we were 65.
Let me ask you something. What do you
And-
mean you got a contract?
They give you a contract as
I
a
don't have one.
contractor. I'm a contractor.
I don't even know where the paper is.
I know where the paper is.
Yeah, I know you have an
Yeah.
office.
But how about this? December 20th. Now this is all barring modestly good health, right? We you know,
That
I
would
think
be a factor.
I
in
think
this.
I think it can be canceled in the when you die. You know, if you die, then they don't have to pay you.
Right.
So December
makes sense.
27th, 2025, 60 years as a sports writer. Because that's when I started in Duluth as a 20-year-old kid.
Can I get back to this contract? I'm telling you, I'm a little nervous. What?
I got it on the car. I
But
can show you.
contractors don't need one.
It's 4 or 5 pages.
You're a vendor.
Well, maybe I'm a vendor. I call it a contractor. They call it a contractor.
What does it spell out?
It says basically all the reasons they can get rid of me if they want to. So, and what I'm going to make and stuff like that. But, you know,
Wait a minute now.
I do.
No, you're a vendor. You're a guy walking down the sidewalk. They either accept what you wrote and pay you for it, or they don't.
No, I
That's
am
what the Pioneer Press
contracted-
told you.
I am contracted to produce 3 columns a week. It says in there, this is what you obligated. This is what
See,
you owe us.
my deal's different.
Whenever you're right, if you decide to take the summer off, that's fine.
That's what I did.
Yeah, right. Well, I owe them 3 columns a week.
52 weeks a year?
Well, I can tell them I'm taking a week off and I'll get paid, you know. But
They'll pay you for a vacation time?
they'll pay me because I do a lot. I do enough extra stuff that they're not going to complain about. But a couple of years ago, I got them to start paying parking and mileage.
Of course, I don't. There's no parking problems. I don't even know where the place is.
Yeah, but when I go to a game now,
They'll take care of it.
they pick up the parking and also mileage. But anyway, so it's
Boy, I bet you feel pretty important.
no, I don't.
Oh, you got it in
But
your car, you're bragging about
but
it.
But here's the deal. I got in the game of flaws.
Yeah.
You know, I still got the game
You
of
throw
flaws.
that in front of her once in a
Here's
while?
the deal. She doesn't mind me not being there. In fact, she approves it greatly, kind of like you're.
I know how that works.
Yet, I think she resents the fact that I get up and I have something to do.
Yeah.
You know, I have something to do.
Right.
And many days, she doesn't really have anything to do except play mahjong on the computer for 6 hours.
Yeah. Let me ask you
And
one
other
more thing
stuff,
about
and
this
keep
contract.
up with the Kardashians and stuff. The contract is on your mind.
It really is. I want to ask you one more thing about
Mm-hmm.
it. Does it spell out what you get paid?
Oh, yes.
It does.
Yes. And I got, believe it or not, a $25 a week raise on this contract.
How about that?
That's like the early days of radio. 25 bucks.
You know what that'll get you? 3 8-packs of Diet Coke.
Nothing.
That'll get you 3 8-packs of those Diet Coke bottles.
So is this $25
So
a
it
week?
gets me half of my week's supply.
You get $25 a week.
That was the
And
raise.
this is a raise.
Yes. And the last time I got a 2-year deal, I got a $25 a week raise that time too.
Man,
So I'm up 50.
they know how to treat a guy.
I'm up 50 from.
So wait a minute. Did you just disclose that your Diet Coke budget is $50 a week?
Oh God, yes, sir.
Holy cow!
Well, that's fine, but now this contract doesn't spell out vacation time or
no,
health
none
or
of that. No, none of that. There's no health. There's no health. What I mean,
parking though? You get parking.
Yeah, well, when I go to an event, not if I go to the building.
Does it pay for your parking downtown?
No. Okay. If I go to a building, and you end up desperate and have to park in that ramp below the building.
Yeah,
it's like they might as well just hit you over the head with a pistol and take your billfold. It's like $25 for 3 hours or something.
Holy cow!
It's not like the good old victory
You could shoot
rap.
up your raise in one day at the parking lot.
Right, you do one day.
Now we do
The
need
victory rap. It ain't.
Well, that was I
You
can't
missed
remember
the
what that
victory.
cost.
How far is the victory ramp away from your new office?
That's a good question. Because for sure the new one's across the river.
Yes.
Just where is the question?
It's across. Oh, on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there. No one's. You should call a friend and say, who works there? And say, can
Joe,
you lead me to the office?
Why don't you hit up one of your coworkers at the
don't-
newspaper?
It's just, I think, a computer center.
Okay.
I don't think there's people work there.
Do you ever, you guys ever chum around? You guys that all work for the paper?
Back in the old days, you did.
Sure,
guess.
yeah. But not lately, huh?
No.
I'm
going to start asking about this contract.
I had an opportunity to mention Luigi's in a tweet again.
Oh, I
the other
saw
day.
that.
Oh, man. What a place. I love that place.
Was
I
that?
barely remember it.
Oh, well.
It was very small, right?
Across the street, it was small.
Did they have food?
But no.
No.
But every other week, Friday, you'd cash your check in there.
What was in it for him to cash your check?
Ready to kick ass, take names, and buy around at Luigi's.
A lot of alcoholics were in there. And there's nothing better than bar business in the 70s than alcoholics because they can get in their car and drive then.
So, Patrick, I saw this clip. You, I believe, posted it last week. What year was that from? When you were named editor on the headline there?
That was 1971, I believe.
Wow.
The sports editor of that clipping's from the Folda Free Press.
Is it
Which
really?
had the year of my high school graduation wrong and a couple other mistakes. But, yes,
The Folda Free Press?
the Folda Free Press. It still exists.
Yeah.
Here, I'll
Still
read a portion. Ricey has been in charge of high school sports and the Pioneer Press staff and succeeds the late Ken Murphy, who died October 13th following a heart attack.
Judd pointed
laughed
out
himself to
Judd pointed out that you just don't get the cause of a death for who you replaced in newspaper stories.
Not
I
anymore.
want details.
No. How'd you get the job? Well, the guy died.
Ken Martin died of a heart attack.
Ken Murphy. I hope
Or
they had-
Murphy.
yeah,
Ken Murphy. I'm sorry. Yes.
Murph was a great guy. But Murph, I've told you guys this. They called me in like August and said, Murph's going to retire in 3 years, and we're going to train you to be a sports editor, the morning sports editor. And this was going to be like an extra $25 a week.
Another
Would have
25,
meant
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Would have meant something because you were always broke. So I said, oh, okay. And Murph died in September.
Yeah.
About a month later, and they gave me the job, which was really a mistake.
You said you have to get this contract signed.
Jesus.
Do you have to meet with a company attorney?
No, I have to sign it myself, and then they sign it.
mail it
They
in, or-
sign it. I can just hand it to them, put it under the door. Put it
The
under the door of
the
the boss.
editor?
Or the boss will be the sports editor.
Hopefully they don't die of a heart attack before you sign that thing.
Yeah, this kid.
You didn't have to go
this
to
kid
the-
runs. This kid runs marathons.
Oh,
for
then you're
God's
all
sake.
You didn't have to go to the legal department.
No,
Okay.
they just gave me the same thing they gave me 2 years earlier with different dates. Is all it is.
It got
But
a
it was-
whereas, therefores in it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because if I didn't have this to do, what the hell would I do?
See, but this is what I'm driving at. You can do it. It seems to me you would still be doing it if you didn't have a contract.
Yeah, well, I can't just say, "Hey,
here's
I'm
some
sending in
stories."
my column," and they say,
That's what I do.
Who are the editors? That's
what I do.
The editors would say, "We got two people. We got the Vikings played last night. We don't want your damn column." You got to have days,
Yeah.
Now they move around some, but it's all pre-planned.
Is that spelled out in the contract?
Well,
It's
Pat,
straight.
we're discovering that's what's happening. The Pioneer Press is saying, who the hell is this guy
That's right.
sending us
He
this
keeps
thing
sending us this copy. What the hell?
what the hell? Put it in there. I don't care.
We'll put it in there. Yeah, that's right.
I find this fascinating.
Yes.
Well, we have to ask the question we were going to ask earlier.
Yeah.
So, is it possible with the Turkey Committee gathering this week, we could have another two-timer?
Is this a repeat, maybe?
I'll give you guys
A scoop.
I'll give you guys a scoop.
I think it's the least you could do for this show.
Fleck is a big favorite of a lot of
Okay,
people
I was thinking
now.
it would be.
When Fleck won a few years ago, people were irate, right? Well, one of the members of my committee, I was talking to him yesterday, and he said, "This is the year you ignore him.
Oh,
This is the year you ignore him."
that's good.
Because then they say, he really wanted to give it to Fleck, but he won't give us the satisfaction of even putting Fleck on.
That's a pretty damn
'cause
good point.
Let's face it, we've gone from, here's the problem. 10, 15 years, people would see it and chuckle.
Yeah.
Now they take it serious. It's the modern
Right.
reader has no sense of, they're supposed to laugh.
But he's
you know?
so obviously the candidate.
Oh, I know.
There's no one comes close to his ineptitude. No one.
No, and it's a tough, we still got to make up our mind.
Because
but,
you only had Polad as a two-timer, right?
He's the only previous two-time winner.
Was there? There was a
but
Herbeck
did-
angle, wasn't there? Wasn't there?
Herbie won it in 90.
But he was never a two-timer. He
Oh,
just
God,
won it the
no,
one
no.
time.
There's only
Okay.
been 1 2-time.
That's what I thought.
But
Okay.
Herbie declared to me after he won it, when I saw him that spring, that he wasn't going to talk to me for a year
Okay.
at the season. And then they won the World Series. And the first time I talked to him was in the Rose Garden. I said, "The year's over. Give me a quote," But, yeah, some guys take it hard. Sometimes some guys don't. But, Mike Lynn, the only really noble winner, called me up and said it was about time. So
Isn't that
he
so
was
him?
smarter than us.
He was.
In addition,
He had
leak
us played.
In addition, what did he leak us? The
Community
Protection Act. right?
Community Protection Act, the CPA.
Stop the
We
presses!
ran out there. We ran out there in our cars.
Stop the presses!
And I called the paper, said, "Stop everything. I'm coming in. I
With
got
the
it."
community with 2 graphs.
Yeah, they gave me 2 graphs.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Community Protection Act.
He's at his house. We had to go to his house at Minnetonka.
We got to sit there and watch him smoke.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. The Community Protection Act. We looked at each other. What the hell is this?
Yeah, he wanted to get in on the action. That was for sure.
Part of it was the casino, right? He was
Yeah, he was going to get a casino.
going to build a casino, and all the money would go to the teams.
He was ahead of his time on that, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how much did he make off just the seating deal that he had with the dome?
They kept paying. He kept getting the money until they tore down the dome for the suites.
Because when did he die? What year?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Was it after the dome?
Yeah, but I'm sure his estate kept getting the money.
Oh, they did. Okay. Okay.
No, it was. No, he died. God, he's been dead 15 years
He,
at least.
he died while the dome was still running.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
He was something. I told this 5 times when he leaked the info to after the Turkeys of the Year. He leaked the info to me about this offensive tackle that they'd signed, that they had big hopes for, and he's a great story, and blah blah blah. And I can get you an interview with him, and the coaches will talk about him. And then I found out they had him for a 2-day tryout, and he was marrying Lynn's daughter's best friend. His wedding present to the charming couple was a column about the kid as a football player.
Okay.
Says, "What do you think of that, big guy? What do you think of that, big guy?" I said, "You got me, but I got you a lot through the years, so worry."
I says to the Lynn,
Yeah.
I says, "You got me, but
I
now
got you."
you."
All right.
All
What
right.
else? We got anything
That's
else?
it.
I think
all I
that's
got.
it.
That's all I got.
That's all we got, I think.
Okay. All right then.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, Tibbs is in town tonight to play the Wolves.
Mr. Superfan, Timberwolves superfan
he'll be
over here,
there.
Joe
I'm
Soucheray.
not a super fan,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm catching the final 8 minutes.
I think the good news this week is that Cat and Edwards seem to be amicable. They're throwing compliments at each other, and you wondered how Cat was going to take that, but they seem to be getting along, which would certainly help. So,
Yes, sir.
Anyway, that's it.
See ya.
This is Ricey, and you've heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I recommend that you give Josh a call is simple: trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns, and while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yep, that is more common than you would like to think in the investment business. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad you did, and don't forget to ask him why it is 48 minutes.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.